Hello everyone. Welcome everyone to another fun-filled episode here, Pitch Matter, powered by Maxtron Innovations. Good morning to everyone here in the U.S. and of course, it's thankful for everyone to stay up late in the Middle East, as well as our team and our community, Web3 community in India. I am Nguyen on behalf of our entire Maxtron team. We host every first and third Thursday, just as housekeeping, every first and third Thursday each month to bring some exciting use cases and tokenization experts, projects, and entrepreneurs in front of you. Our co-host today is also the amazing Hemant Jain. He is a success coach, executive mentor, and Amazon bestseller author who helps business owners, founders, and professionals break through their stagnation. As a co-founder of Centennial Journey and co-creator of about 100 plus programs, he empowers great leaders to transform careers, grow businesses, and build purposeful, fulfilling lives. So that said, welcome, Hemant. It's great to have you, sir, joining us today. So while we give our audience just a few minutes to settle in, Hemant, if you will take the honors to introduce our Web3 Pitch Expo in Dubai next year, powered by Maxtron and our amazing partners at Pitch Matter. So Hemant, I'll hand it over to you. If you could take on the introduction of our events going into 2026.
Thank you, Hugh. Thank you. Welcome, Robert. So, talking about Pitch Matter. Pitch Matter, the team at Pitch Matter has been very, very busy. Over the last 1.5 years, the concept of Pitch Matter has evolved, Pitch Expo has evolved, and we have been building for the grand Startup Expo, a Pitch Expo coming up in April 2026. And as we have met people, we have met sponsors, we have met investors, we have met startups, we have met HNIs who are looking at how the industry is growing, we have met government officials who are ready to join hands in the cause. The all this all those conversations have actually fueled the vision of Pitch Expo, and the vision is now big. Let me give you a taste of it. Pitch Expo is going to be in April 2026, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. 22nd is going to be Golf Day and a manufacturing symposium for Make in Emirates. Golf Day, we are inviting LPs and GPs, VCs. So we get funding to those who do the funding for startups, right? Not many events out there doing that. So we are focusing on getting funding to those who do the funding. In parallel to that, we are inviting star academicians, the boring professors, academicians from the universities. These boring guys, the stars players of them, they are holding 15, 20, 25, sometimes even 50 patents, not just discoveries or inventions, patents. These patents can be instrumental in driving industries to the next level. So what we are doing is we are organizing a Make in Emirates manufacturing symposium where we bring these star academicians with their patents to the platform, bring in the innovation heads from the corporate world, from the manufacturing world, and then bring in the government officials who are championing the cause of Make in Emirates. Bring them together, and then we just have to sit back and watch magic happen, right? And then the next 2 days, the Pitch Expo core event, the Expo event, we are going to get their startups, we are going to get them in get industry companies which are thriving, which are growing in the business, and we are going to get 1,000 investors to the venue. This conglomerate of getting a large number of investors and the startups and businesses is going to be a 2 day complete extravaganza event, at the end of which we should be able to announce a big number in terms of funding being done, in terms of business being brought to all these businesses, companies that are exhibiting at Pitch Expo. Pitch Expo for us started with a concept of let's organize a startup expo, and now it has transformed into an always on market ecosystem for all these businesses. And I'm sure you can hear a hint of the passion with which I'm talking about this whole thing, but there is a lot of energy which is there behind in the all the teams who are working on it. I would just even show you a quick video of Pitch Matter, the founding company for Pitch Expo. Let's get the video rolling, and you will get a sense of what we are trying to build. Something big, something evolutionary, hopefully something revolutionary. Matt, can you please play the video? Right.
Pitch Expo, one hub for every pitch.
Fantastic. Guys who are watching this, take this opportunity, take a screenshot. If not, if you cannot scan the QR code right away, but do visit our site and get the latest updates and the info. Mac, I would also like you to show the angel seed slide while I talk about angel seed. Pitch Matter has come out with angel seed, a token which individuals can earn, the tokens that can be earned by participation in events. In fact, you are right now participating, attending an event by Pitch Matter. So for attending today, for being here to listen to our esteemed guest Robert, who is going to share some very insightful insights, you can earn and unlock angel seed on the app. So again, I would say take a screenshot, go to capshield.io/capshield, download the app, and use that code AngelSeed01 on the screen to unlock your tokens. And as we go on, you will be earning more and more tokens, which you can then convert into buying tickets, buying things. So it's going to be a whole new thing that we will be creating, and you will hear a lot more about Angel Seed and going further. And before this slide disappears, let me acknowledge DigiShares, which is a sponsor for today's webinar. Thank you, DigiShares, for sponsoring this episode. Over to you, Hugh. Let's move on with our webinar.
Fantastic. That was great. Thanks, Hemant. Really appreciate it. So yeah, let's kick this off. We are extraordinarily pleased to be joined today by Mr. Robert Strutin. He is the founder of IMU Studios. He's a creator of the play for profit model for Thunder, a PC game that will be backed by Web3 and secured with blockchain that we believe transforms in-game gear into profitable, tradable assets for game players. I being one of the old school gamers, but this is new stuff for me. And now he's pioneering the next frontier, seamlessly bringing this player-owned economy into what we love, the tokenization space. So that said, Robert, very honored to have you. And I know today Rob is going to be breaking down some big plans and recent developments at IMU Studios, sort of driving the PC game industry and adopting into the Web3 tokenization landscape as it starts to cross-pollinate with what he believes is the AAA publishers. That's the gaming platform relationships, media synergies, and that goes to live streaming, marketing, esports competition networks, which we'll talk a little bit about, and then more importantly, cross-border payment platforms, digital, secure, efficient movement of what we call liquidity velocity, liquidity capital through digital currencies. So recently, this is for another conversation, but as many of you may not know or may know, Visa versus MasterCard, their competition is now really transformed into the crypto payment rails, right, to become stablecoin settlement platforms. And then they're tapping into their network of millions of merchant accounts with credit cards to now stablecoin payment rails. So that's going to be really exciting, and how that kind of weaves into what we're talking about today. And lastly, I believe to enable a true Web3 creator economy that empowers creators just like you, Robert, and your team, we need to first understand the principles of what we call participatory economics, where the focus is driven by self-governance, self-reliance. We've been talking about that a lot, sustainability, and then of course the execution for a decentralized economic system with real transparency, strong incentives, and of course where my background fits in is some regulatory framework that allows for social fair ownership, and of course accountability for performance and best execution. So anyways, with that said, Rob, for our viewers who are pretty much new to IMU, could you give us a brief overview on the history of IMU, the role you play within the IMU ecosystem, and really just how you got started, and perhaps what's in store presently right now with IMU? And I'll hand it over to you.
Well, honored to be here, first of all. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. And so my background is music. I don't know if you can see a bunch of guitars behind me, but, I'm in a recording studio here. This is, IMU stands for Interactive Memory Universal. It's basically our structure that we use. We use independent contractor agreements. And basically, it's like making the artists who are joining early, your micro investors, and we've been able to self-fund the company using that, make an MVP using that model. So it's been really good. So how did I get into video games? Well, the world has become very visual. They used to say 1/3 kinesthetic, 1/3 visual, 1/3 auditory, and it's now 90% visual. So being a musician, I don't want to name any female artists, but I don't look like any of them, getting a little older and stuff like that. So how do you create a visual image in the marketplace when you're doing music? Well, video games. My roommate came in, he said, we got to play this Quake game. And so he installed it on my computer, and I was like, I think I could make something better than this. And so, that's kind of where it started. You were talking about me going into some of the history. So I basically put IMU on the roadmap, the very beginning, the starting point, in the year 2000. And about 2005, I had a team of 34 people, and we were working on Prince of Thunder. So that was our first version, a very old game engine. And that went really well until, let me say I had an advisor at EA Sports, and he set me up with a fellow that had just sold BioWare, and they had just got $860 million. I'm sure if they waited till now, it'd be worth a lot more, but they had just sold it to EA. And so he set me up with a meeting with Greg, and I went there. We had breakfast together. It was very nice. And he said, well, I've got to go. And I said, well, you haven't seen my game yet. Let me turn around the laptop and show it to you. And he got really nervous. And I said, what's the matter? He said, well, you don't know this, but EA has made me sign an agreement that I can only give this money to somebody that signs with the EA. I was horrified because EA had the worst reputation of a publisher worldwide. So thinking on my feet, I said, well, EA partners work? And he goes, yeah, that'll work. So he set me up with Jamil Moldina, and I pitched him. I went and studied a little bit about him. First of all, And he was a novelist and he had written a novel. So I got all this information. So I thought, okay. So I pitched him, I said, we're making a high fantasy sci-fi first person game. And he's like, you're hitting all our hot buttons. And I thought, wow, I've got the investor, I've got the publishers, fantastic. We'll go back to the studio. And the demo that we had, we could go in and update things. I thought, oh, I'm going to update the graphics and the sound and all this kind of stuff. And I took too long because the fall of 2008 happened and the world market crashed and the EA partners went bankrupt and I couldn't raise the investor anymore. So, that was a lesson. Really kind of what happened after that, we went out and we did live events and, just so everybody knows, we did LAN parties. So what that is a bunch of guys get their computers, get together and they hook them all up. And it's great for multiplayer games because usually you're playing through the internet and you have lag. So we had all these people put their computers together and we would play. And our greatest moment was we had 32 people. So 16 on 16, that was the full game. This was as many as we could get. And then remember the game's called Thunder. And we start playing. We got into the game about 20 seconds and lightning hit the building and knocked the power out. So we were christened.
That's the literal thing. I mean, literal sense, bringing the roof down.
Yeah, it was so strange. But the thing is, we got to stress test the engine. It worked perfect. And so we were very happy. But really after that, I was live streaming. I wasn't making a game. I had no team. The whole thing fell apart because of the economy. And the interesting thing is the video game market didn't go down. It went flat, which is very interesting because everything else went down. So I kind of pulled out of it. It's things like that happen. You work so hard and then things like that happen. So I'm online and I'm playing other people's games. And here's the number one comment. Why are you so negative about these games you play? I said, well, I'll tell you why. I said, and this is my joke. I said, the 1980s called and they want their lame game design idea back. And that's basically that you're in the game and death is a surprise. Like you can have one health and you're running around like you have a full health. And then some stray bullet comes and it kills you. It's not really killing. And you count it out for 20 seconds. You get back in, they go, well, what would you do different? I said, I'll tell you exactly what I'll do. That's different. I said, in our game, when you have no health unit, you have shields, and it's like Star Trek, and you have teleporters. And when you have a device on this arm, and when you shoot the teleporter, it takes away all the shield. When all the shield is gone, you're still in the game. It's the most exciting cat and mouse moment where I'm chasing you and you're running from me, and I'm trying to hit you with one more shot. And when I hit you one more shot, you're banished to a lower realm. So games don't do this. We banish you to the pit. I say it's a fate worse than death because you're counted out for 2 to 5 minutes. You're not in the main game anymore. And here's the twist. You're there with the enemy. Now, do you work together to get out? So no other game has that. That's a completely original idea. We took all the best ideas from games. We boiled it down, redesigned it completely, wiped out all the things like grinding and all that kind of stuff to make this game.
That's incredible. So Robert, did you want to talk a little bit about, and we'll segue into the obviously the current some of the current initiatives with regards to even a novel coming out soon, and you maybe could speak a little bit about some of these new initiatives, and then we can maybe show a little quick a teaser video of the Thunder game.
And thanks for getting me back on track. there's a lot to this.
Yeah,
been doing this for a few years. So okay, so let's so presently we're working on a Quest demo. And that's kind of the focus right now to make an MVP, basically for investors, because really we want to prove this is legit. We know how to ship. I mean, that's really what it's about. Can we make a product and put it in the marketplace? That's that part of it. So the novel. So we have a writing team, and they've just done amazing work. What's funny about, just to kind of explain something, like if let's put some creatures on the start line, and so the writers would be the rabbit, and the game developers would be the snail. And so, and nothing, nothing wrong with that. It's just game development is slow because you have all these, things to go through. For example, if you have a character and you have a drawing of a character, well, that can be created in, a few hours, few days, maybe a week, if, getting to all the details and the schematics and all that stuff. But then you can get into 3D modeling, and that can take 6 weeks for a character. Then you got to rig it. So that can be a day to a week. And then now it's time, you got something that's stiff, not doing anything. Now you have to go to the animation department, and that's more weeks. So it's incredible how things slow down. But with the novel, we're hoping to have that out early next year, and it's going really well. So it's amazing. The stories are really amazing. I'll mention just a little bit about that. So the lore, here's what the lore is. Where are all the mythical creatures that they write about? Well, our game doesn't take place on Earth. It takes place in the star-forming region of space called NGC 3603. That's called the Stellar Jewel Box Nebula. And so all those mythical creatures are on this little planet called Nebulous Prime in this star-forming region, and that's where our story takes place. And it's very, very high fantasy and fantastical.
That would be pretty interesting and very incredible.
Yeah, and we have two moons, 2 suns, very short days. It's a very small planet, so it's very cool.
Yeah, and in segueing to our video, but we'll move on to the next segue. But that's really the actively fundraising aspect, right, Rob? With the Quest demo MVP that you just mentioned,
Yep.
and obviously working with the capital acquisition professionals. That's how we obviously got acquainted and connected.
Exactly.
And yeah, and we were, I think it was your day off, so I remember I bugged you to have a meeting because
I am so glad.
Maxtron, we don't sleep.
Yeah, I'm so glad I checked in that day. She came to me and said, I'm having an investor meeting. I'm like, it's my day off. I said, I haven't even had breakfast yet. I'm gonna go have breakfast and then I'll join you a little bit late. So I'm so glad I did, because I don't know where this would be. This probably wouldn't be happening.
And then that leads us to exploring the tokenomics models with you and IMU and our amazing, wonderful teams kind of now colliding together. So that said, I think this would be a great segue, perhaps, to give our audience a little teaser video. If Mehak can throw that up, it's probably 1 minute or so. Take a look at that, and then we'll jump into the next list of topics.
Wow, that
Wow,
game
that
is
was well done.
thunder.
So we were at a real high point when we were doing that. We were working with some team members, and we were having delays, and it wasn't good enough, and we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And we changed this song around, and we shortened it, and cut out scenes, and like, man, it's still missing things. And then we had Alejandro join the team, and I just have some notes here. He's 13 years of experience. He's shipped 10 titles himself, more than 10 titles himself. And so all of a sudden we had an expert Unreal Engine 5 fellow, and he just took our characters into the engine. We had storyboards, we showed him the scenes, and he created it. We made some changes, we rendered it out, and there it is. And then the previous team looked and they go, oh, you guys figured out how to finish it. So it really turned out fantastic.
No,
Fantastic.
well,
Fantastic.
well done, well done. Hemant, I'll hand it over to you. Perhaps we could segue into the next section in regards to some of the player-driven economy discussions. I think will be very exciting for our audience.
Absolutely, because Robert mentioned about the profitable player-driven economy that turns gameplay into very real-world, tangible value for gamers, for developers, and even for future investors. Now, this is big. This is huge. So, tell us more about this, Robert. How does this whole thing pan out?
Well, here's where I'm going to start. And I don't know if you guys all know him, but there's a fellow named Jay Abraham. He's a marketing guru. He's involved with 400 different industries. And what he does is he pulls things from one industry, like precious metals, which is interesting for this group. And he pulls things from another industry, just pick something like from retail. And he'll say, hey, these guys make money this way. And he'll create another profit pillar for that industry, and they will be making money. So in a new way, additional revenue. So he's brilliant. And I'm very inspired by Jay. And I'll give you an example of how we've adapted this to ourselves. And this answers your question. So let's take something simple as the retail wholesale, what a store uses. You go in and buy a jug of milk, you pay retail. How are they making money? How do they have a store? How do they have employees? Because they bought it wholesale and they keep the difference. So I took that concept, which isn't in video games at all. And what we do is we package together our items in a package. We call it a package deal, and we sell it wholesale to the gamers. So we're not doing a free to play, which is really a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's it's pay to play is really what that is. And we do we call our own thing play for profit, which is what we call better than free to play. That was our whole goal. So basically, we put a package deal together and we sell it. Now the numbers for the free to play market are 3.4% of players buy. So very few people buy stuff. And so the solution to all this is that you get the guys that have money and no time, and the guys that have time and no money, and you put them together. And I think we're going to be up around 15% of people that are going to buy into this. I think it's going to be that high or even higher, because this is so much better. Because when people realize what this is, they're going to go, wow, this is different than that. This is going to disrupt the game industry. Because right now the game industry takes advantage of people. And when the server gets, stops making money, they shut it down, make game 2. And that's really what they do. And I was going to say something, but that's very highly secretive, so I better not say that. Okay. So, so getting back to that, how the marketplace works. I was playing a game. I said, what's the secret? How's this going to work? And the secret is that we do not compete. So when we sell them that package deal, they're going to break those items up and be able to sell individual items at retail, and they keep the difference. So that's the secret to this whole thing. And we do not ever sell individual items. We do not compete with them. Now, this right here is a look at the marketplace. Okay. So you can see there's all kinds of wild prices on there. If you can see that, there's a crown there that's worth $205. So when somebody goes in, 70% of the time, these items are going to be common. So they're going to be worth $5. And then we've got 12 levels of rarity. So that crown that's worth $205, that's holy. That's the 12th level. Now here's the thing. When you buy this, think of a slot machine, all of those items spin, and what are they spinning? They're spinning rarity. Okay? And so, but that's only one part of it. So as you play, the items are increasing in rarity and value. When you're not playing, the items are being auto rented out. So here's the secret to our game. All the free players get to use the exact same items as the paid players. And here's the pain point. When the guy that bought this stuff comes back online and he puts his character in the game, he takes it all back. So these free players are going to be racing in going, I'm going to go in, I'm going to, take this over. And all of a sudden, now this is meant to be funny. All of a sudden, they're in their armored underwear. Everything's gone. So that's the pain point. And the NPC comes over and goes, well, maybe you should buy something. And that's our wholesale thing. There's no paywall. There's nothing. We just kind of, make them feel bad for not buying something. And so people are going to buy one or two items to make their game better. And that's how they're going to be able to sell it. And I think that this model is going to appeal to people that play games, people that are in the stock market, people that buy virtual goods, people that are into tokenomics. It's going to do all of that. And it'll be a good thing for all those people, even people that don't play the game, because other people will use their items and play them and increase them in value. So that speaks to that. Well, let's have a look at the next slide there, and we can speak to that. But marketplace will be on our website, so people will be able to go there, and I'll talk a little bit about the influencer marketing things, and people will be able to redeem Game Gear and get it. So what's the pain point? What's the solution? What are we solving? And it's this whole idea that this extensive playtime yields no real world benefits. So there's no monetary value for players. Pay to win models breed frustration and resentment, and loot boxes. Well, people hate loot boxes. So we create a marketplace. There's no paywalls. We do this play for profit model that we've invented ourselves, and players own what they play. So what we do is we change the end user agreement so they can actually own it. Just so you know, in other games, like we'll take World of Warcraft, for example, if you have a bunch of things that let's say you've spent 6 months to get to the highest level and you got all this gear. If you sell that or you sell your account, they shut you down. You don't own anything because you sign an end user agreement that says they own it, even though you're playing and putting all that time in it. So we switch that around and allow people to actually own things, which fits right into tokenomics.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Do we want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, Robert. Let's. Yeah, exactly. Mehak, can you put up the? Let's go into the next slides on the. Is it the value proposition, Robert? Or we went over that?
Yeah, I kind of spoke to this one already. I was saying how this can relate to non-gamers. So, non-gamers would be people, that are buying shares or buying, virtual, not virtual goods, but virtual goods as well, but cryptocurrency, so it can relate to those kind of people. I mean, there's no mechanism for this to go down. So I'm going to talk about them a little later. It only goes up over time. So everything increased. It's not wild like the stock market. So you're not going to make $200,000 overnight, but you can make $200,000, but you're going to buy a lot of gear, and you're going to either play or you're going to let other people play. And that's how it increases in rarity and value. And of course, there's the luck of the draw. So I think people are going to buy a package of Game Gear and go, oh man, I got one rare item. I'll buy another package. And because they can sell the things that they don't want for real money, and buy more packages, they can put together a package of Game Gear for their character that's more rare. Then it'll be more desirable to rent, and it'll be increasing in value and rarity over time. So it's kind of an amazing thing when you understand that side of it as a purchaser.
Yeah. And I'll add to this, and we can jump into the China rules, but this is exactly falls within the projects the usefulness, right, of what we're doing to unlock these specific utilities or what we call token gated resources, right?
Mhm.
And these utilities are native and they're built by your project's team, right? While some are what we call external and they come because of the popularity of the main project. So in the these big projects that we've dealt with in the NFT space, Bored Apes and Punks, right? That's like kind of like collecting all of these utilities. This is now, I think, a great time to bring the gaming sort of ecosystem back to the credibility of what we once were trying to do with the NFT space, right? And that supports the tokenization models that we are going to be working with IMU on. So we're really excited about that. But that said, Robert, wow, time is flying fast. So I want to get through a couple more. It's amazing. The
I'm
time is
having
just-
fun.
Yeah. So if you could briefly just hit on what, the pros and cons of what we call the China rules for our audience, and maybe Mehak can go through a couple of the slides there, and then I believe we'll hand it back over to the next segue questions that we have for you.
Okay, this will go fast. So China has 11 rules to get your game into China. I always say it's the wall against everybody that's outside of China. So it's hard for game developers to get in. So what they do is they make one game for the world and they make another game for China. We're making one game that can go into China. We always did it. We didn't change it for China, but here it is. No blood, no gore, no death, no violence. Move on. We can go through these fast. No skulls, no overt sexuality, no cleavage, no space travel. Don't really understand that one, but
Yeah.
How are you circumventing space travel?
Yes.
Well,
That one's a bummer for me.
everything takes place on the planet, so we circumvent that. No zombies, no choice between good and evil, and no speech that has a potential to disrupt the public order. So China makes up 25% of the video game market, and we're making one game for the whole world. And we're making an esport game that's for everyone. This is the thing. So the 8-year-old boy, his mom can be proud, and we fit into these 11 Chinese rules. And I like to say this, like if you were playing soccer or football, as it's called in some countries, if they had machine guns on the play field and you got paid $6 million a year, would you take that job? I don't think so. And that's pretty much sums up what every other game is. They have guns and death, and China's against that. So when we found that out, we went, oh my goodness, this game that we're making fits into the whole world global market. So the whole thing.
Fantastic.
All age friendly. Yeah, it's all age friendly model, which allows everyone to sort of participate in what they love, and that's the gaming space. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So Robert, I'm gonna segue in with just to make sure we stay on track with time. No stress there, but as you know, we've been talking a lot on our previous sessions around the real world asset opportunities. Right, they're growing fast. Legitimately with many different industries now really working on launching their own RWA digital currencies, and the value of launching a digital asset is backing the token with a sustainable collateral or a strong use case asset, in this respect what you guys have as well, to really hedge against and protect against inflationary models in replacement of other fiat currencies, right? Like the dollar, euro, etc.
Yeah.
And right now in this time of what we believe economic uncertainty, investors are turning to commodities like what we focus on, gold, silver, precious metals, as a true store of value, hoping to preserve or increase their wealth as investors. And commodities have always been seen as that apex inherent tangible physical value, right? And potentially holding their worth and appreciating during these economic downturns. So in our Web3 digital fintech space, the value of this digital RWA then of course can be fractionalized down to a number of digital sub tokens and asset-backed securities, which can then be traded on a secondary market, and then lastly, more importantly, redeemed by the investor for physical, or in this respect, in the gaming world, virtual
Digital
underlying assets. Yeah, digital, as in real direct ownership. So with that said, Rob, could you give our audience just a quick overview, understanding of the examples of how the in-game virtual assets can be, what we believe can be tokenized in sort of a basket of options, right, as a proof of collateral behind the stability of the token and the currency value?
So we have yet to become the experts in tokenomics. So that's really,
Yeah.
going forward, this webinar is basically sticking our toe in the water is a good way to say it. But I'll tell you, our executive team, everybody I've talked to, and they don't agree on everything, this is the one thing they agree on. They say, because we're raising money, and they're all in agreement that tokenomics is the first step or the next step. So, even before game development, or, all that. So, and what it's doing is giving us a roadmap. So looking at this slide here, you can see we have 3 in-game currencies. We have 2 that are just only in game, but mana is the one that's like a cryptocurrency that you can buy into the game. You can buy the game gear, it increases in rarity and value. You can drag and drop it into the marketplace, and then you can get your mana back out, exchange it back for your own currency. And so people can literally make money. It's literally play for profit.
That's incredible.
So I just want to mention we kind of missed the go-to-market stuff. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, let's segue into that. Hemant, do you want to take that reign? I know we had some questions in regard to the GTM strategy. Maybe in light of time, we'll take the next.
Yeah, I'll just jump right into it. So basically, the go-to-market strategy that we have is really simple, right? Okay, so first of all, we've got 200,000 people that have already signed up, and that's growing. That's part of it. And they say that if you have 50,000 people signed up, the publisher will say yes. So we have 200,000, so it's 4 times as much. So that's a good start. But that's just a start. We go to the publisher. Our go-to-market strategy, part 1, is 320 million gamers that they have in their network. So that's part 1. Part 2 is our influencer marketing tool. Can we just go to the influencer marketing tool slide? This is the marketplace. So this is, just to talk to the marketplace, it's 345 billion this year. So, it's definitely in a growth phase. It was hugely big during COVID because everybody stayed home and played video games. I really wish we had the game in the market at that time, but yeah. So, and what slide is that we're looking?
I think that's perhaps it could be slide 7, Mehak, if you could pull that up.
Yeah.
I know we might have jumped a little bit, but
that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. I'll just keep going. So the influencer marketing tool, for every $1 that's put in, the average that you get back out is $6.50. Some of the companies that are doing really well that are getting $20 back, but we just deal with the average there. So yeah, this is the influencer marketing strategy. So talking about the returns and stuff like that. So there's great engagement across social media networks, and this is better than just scrolling Facebook, because how this works. And I wish we had time, because actually somebody just got rushed to get finished the demo of this. So I got the demo of this. Maybe Hugh, I could show that to you at a later time. But anyways,
sure.
So basically, you push a button, all your followers in it. Push a second button, and it picks somebody out of the list. Push another button, they got 30 seconds to chat. If they don't chat, what you're seeing on the screen here, a little war takes place. And if you don't chat, Zethar wins. That's one of our characters in the game. And if you chat, then you win. It's very simple, but it's engaging, it's interactive. And what we're doing is we're promoting the influencer, and the influencers promoting us. And what we're doing is we're giving them a Game Gear prize. So they're getting a 16-digit code. They come to the website, they redeem the 16-digit code for one of our items, and then we give them a deal on the package because they already own one item. And that's basically how that works. Now that's part A. Part B, we can go to a live event. We can walk the line. We don't even have to be inside. So we can go to E3, Comic-Con, all these major events. We can walk the line and we give people scratch cards. We say, scratch this code, put the 16-digit code into your phone, and you can be making money while you're standing in line. So how that works is they redeem the item, and free players are going to use the item while they're going to their event. They come out, and then we start sending them weekly statements. Your $5 item is now worth $5.55. And next week, your $5. They haven't even played the game yet, right? And we're sending them statements because it's a real world value virtual good.
That's amazing, actually. So, I mean, while you were speaking, I was in my mind, I'm kind of correlating it with the stuff Pitch Matter is doing with investments by creating a investment risk hedging protocol. Because in the world of investments, where investors are investing in startups or in sometimes in crypto, sometimes others, all those investments are pretty risky. And Pitch Matter has created this unique risk hedging protocol where investments are made and the success fee is used for minting tokens by putting treasury on the blockchain, and the whole cycle it has created on one side. And then we have got the whole Pitch Expo angel seed, where users, individuals, again, as you said, even without playing the game, your value is increasing. So as I said earlier also, people who are just watching the webinar today can have the potential of unlocking certain tokens for themselves just by being here. Lot of
Absolutely.
parallels. Mehak, this would be a interesting time to show the Pitch Matter video followed by the Cap Shield video, just to draw those parallels in the minds of the audience also. It would be very interesting to show that at this point. The Pitch Matter video. Yes, and you can just drive the Cap Shield video also, because that will, in a way, explain the concept of the Cap Shield token and how it plans to change the world of investing in certain ways. The way Robert is trying to change the world of gaming in many ways.
Flip it on its head.
That, I'm sure that's a gaming metaphor.
Things have to change. The problem with the gaming industry is very young, so it's not very developed, and everybody just copies everything. They're scared to try something new. Why? Because your budgets are 15 million, 30 million, 130 million, depending on what you're making. So it doesn't matter how big the budget is, you're racing to the finish line. Yeah. You're putting out an unfinished product, so these are all things that we know and we've planned for. And I guess the greatest thing about what we're doing is we've taken the time to figure out what we're doing and what we shouldn't be doing. And, so now when we're going to the investment community and now going to tokenomics community, we know exactly what we're making. So that's nice. Yeah. It's a great security.
And Robert, to close, get to our wrap up, maybe that's a great way to segue lastly into what we were talking about in previous conversations about the sort of secret sauce, right? The anti-replication, sort of the market barriers and the product differentiators that you guys have thought about at IMU. And maybe you could provide a few thoughts on that, and then we'll wrap up the presentation. Sure. It's gone by so fast. It's been incredible.
It has. Yeah. You get me talking. Yeah. we've been doing this for a while, and I guess it's the thing. One of the first things, and I don't know how other people think about this, but I think this is huge, right? When a big company comes along and they want to make a new intellectual property, they hire a game designer. He's very nervous and he steals from this game and that game and this game. He puts it into a document. He sends it into the executives. They go, "Oh, that's like this game, that game, and that game." Okay, they approve it, and then they spend millions of dollars making something that should never have been made. So that's a difference with what other companies do and what we've done. We've spent this time and really I guess because I'm such a see my title, Chief Creative Officer, because I'm such a creative, I have designed so much and we've had to just really take an axe and keep chopping things off. And really what I'm trying to say is we're about 20 years ahead in development with our design. So we're not going to be working on that, but we're working on that over the next 20 years. Nobody else has that. They're making something, they see the market, they change it, they copy everybody else. And we've just innovated that far ahead. It's going to be very hard for somebody to duplicate that because they're always going to be following behind the things that we do. The other thing is technology needs to catch up to the vision. So, I have crazy ideas. Just a simple one, the ability to fly. That's one of the things in our game. That's the number one thing people request. So that's something that's so important to us. But here's the thing. When you go up high, you can see a lot of the world and then the performance drops. So, technology is getting better where it can handle those kinds of things. So we're at the point where we can do that now. But, we have other ideas where, it's going to be a while for it to catch up. So in Thunder, you can earn your wings. So, we give the ability, it's very simple. You start simple. And then as you play, you earn your wings and you have the ability to fly. The other reason our game is not very duplicatable, and not to brag, and that's not what I'm saying here, but they don't have me. So I'm not trying to saying, I think I'm a rare being in the development, to have somebody. Here's a good way to say it. Here's a better way, because I don't want to talk about myself. Disney made a huge mistake when they purchased the Star Wars IP. Why? Because they didn't include George Lucas.
Yes, I was just reading about it yesterday.
And they failed and they failed and they failed and they failed. And you know what they're doing now? George, can you come help us? So, it took them 5 years, I don't know how long, to figure out that you got to keep that visionary guy involved. So that's, and I, again, I'm not saying, it's just rare. People get together, everybody thinks they can make a game, then they get into it. It's very difficult. So, that's really what it's about. And the great thing about our game is there's no grinding. There's no boring stuff that you got to do. So many games are built on, well, you're going to grind for 100 levels. And here's a little thing. When somebody reaches the highest level in games, let's say the cap is 90, level 90, they hit level 90, they get depressed because there's nothing to do. And you know what they do? They make a new character and they start over again, but it's all grinding. So I call our game thrilling, edge of your seat thrilling. And we didn't talk about this at the top level. This game is an esport. So it's a regular game. Everybody can play it. Maybe just one little quick thing is that we have outdoor arenas where the multiplayer game takes place. And then outside that, we have exploration, collection, and quests. And then the big one is, how do you tell a story in a first-person game? Well, all of our NPCs, when the sun goes down, gather around the bonfire, and one of them, they play acoustic musical instruments. There's the music. And one of them tells the story. And there's 8 of these locations all around the game. And each character tells 3 or 4 stories, and there's 8 characters at each bonfire. So the chances you hearing the same story over and over again. So lore and story are a big part of what we're doing. So those are the things that really set this apart.
Fantastic. I mean, storytelling is one of the most powerful means of communication. I mean, the entire marketing world, ad world, game designs should ideally be based on storytelling, and that's when it really connects with the users.
And that's why we did the bonfire, because the oldest form of storytelling is people gathering around a fire. And I thought there's no better way to tell a story. And I hate cutscenes, so I said no cutscenes. You don't ever take control away from the player. If they want to wander into a bonfire halfway through a story and wander out before it's done, you're free to do so.
Fantastic,
Incredible.
fantastic. Well, I mean, Robert, we are coming to an end of an hour. So while I would want to continue the conversation, we need to respect the clock also. So here are two things which I want to one remind our audience is about Angel Seed. So Mehak, if you could pull up our Angel Seed slide so that users who have come in a bit late and might have missed seeing the slide initially. So Angel Seed is the token you can earn and unlock by simply being here. If you can download the app from capshield.io/capshield and use the code AngelSeed01 on the screen in front of you, you will be unlocking tokens just by participating. And in future, there will be many more such occasions of earning tokens just by being part of the movement. And thank you once again to DigiShares for sponsoring today's episode. The other thing which I want to talk about before we close out today is that at Pitch Expo, while we are having this grand plan for making things, one of the things some of us are very, very excited about is the Web3 arena. And Maxtron team is taking care of the Web3 arena. They have created a vision around it. And when I saw that vision for the first time, I mean, I was blown away. So, Mike, if you can just run the video of the Web3 arena that we have planned. It's something really mind-blowing, which brings together Web3.
Dubai 2026. The future of blockchain, crypto, and digital innovation is about to ignite. Welcome to the Web3 arena at Pitch Expo, powered by Maxtron Innovations, where ideas become reality and the world to amplify your presence across the web. Step into the NFT art gallery, where digital creativity meets reality. Experience stunning collections, interact with holographic art, and immerse yourself in the pulse of the Web3 culture. Feel the adrenaline in our crypto trading esports. Compete to double your virtual capital, test your skills under pressure, and prove you have what it takes in the ultimate gamified finance showdown. Unwind and electrify your senses with our Bored Ape and Nakamigo DJ nights. Navigate the complex world of Web3 safely. Our legal and compliance pavilion offers expert guidance on RWA. The Web3 arena at Pitch Expo 2026. Be a founder, an investor, a sponsor, a speaker, and be part of history. Join us in Dubai, April 23rd to 24th, 2026.
That was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Fantastic.
And
So
Robert,
here's, I mean,
last. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hemant.
No, I just wanted to ask that since we are at the end, I wanted to ask Robert if you have some big announcements to make. This would be a great time and the audience to make it.
No, we don't have any.
How does the audience find you on the social media?
All right. Yeah. So we have an upcoming Quest demo. Now, unfortunately, that is made for private investors. That's going to be the focus of the Quest demo. We are going to be expanding it and, involving that for regular users, and then eventually on Steam and stuff. It's all part of the process. And then our game is going to be completely free. So that's, the end goal for all this kind of stuff. So I'll just mention a few things here. So, we're doing this to increase trust and traction, and we'll be completing our first novel, as I mentioned earlier. We have our streaming television show. So that's, we've done a little bit of outline and stuff like that. It's really the next thing down the road. But we're looking at different technologies. We've met with some potential investors, have really given us some great insight on, how we can develop this, using current technology and upcoming technology. So that's really fantastic. Our full-scale game development will be happening with our experienced executive producer, and there's so much more that I cannot announce publicly yet. But people can go to imustudios.com. So that's the letter I, the letter M, the letter U, studios with an S.com. And on YouTube, you look for iPlayMore. So just to be clear, IMU Studios is our development company. iPlayMore is our marketing company. So that's where people can find us online.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Robert, for being here with us today. And I would like to invite you to talk about what we have got up for the next webinar and what we have got next.
Yeah, thank you, Robert, Hemant, and of course to our amazing Maxtron team that helped us put this session together. So I'll close with this on I believe our next webinar. We will have an amazing gentleman, Kelvin Makwa. He's the founder and CEO of Farmstead Group, from out of Australia and UK. They will join Pitch Matters December 18th webinar. So make sure you guys lock in that date and we'll get you a link for that. We'll discuss their tokenization go-to-market strategy as an amazing AI-powered regenerative food waste, energy harvesting, and agro-farm to table hospitality ecosystem, which we believe is designed to strengthen food and energy grid security across global regions. So Maxtron is really excited to welcome them. And again, thank you, Robert, and your team. We're really excited to be in sort of holding hands with IMU Studios. A lot of big things to come. And I'm sure we'll have you back on another session to talk about your progress, and we'll be in touch. So until next time, everyone, as always, love and gratitude. Take care of each other, and we'll say bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.